From the brilliant minds of Bruce Timm, Matt Reeves, and J.J. Abrams comes a spectacular new animated series, Batman the Caped Crusader, on Amazon Prime. The show is set in the 1940s Gotham, which lends itself well to the detective aspects of Batman's persona. My honest opinion of the show? Great. Solid 9 out of 10. I'm going to also give a hot take here and say that animated Batman works are 10 times better than any live-action adaptation we have had. Examples being Batman the Animated Series, The Batman, even Justice League and Justice League Unlimited. Not to say the Christian Bale movies or Robert Pattinson movies, etc. are bad. I just think there are missing aspects that can only be explored in an animated setting. So, let's go through the pros and cons of the show so you can see why I came to my conclusions. Just a heads up, guys, there will be spoilers for this review. Spoilers inbound, you have been warned. First off, we're going to go through the pros, and be warned, these are going to be a lot more numerous than the cons for the simple fact of I really enjoyed the show. So, characters. So let's start with Harvey Dent. I think Harvey Dent is a very dynamic character. I've always liked him in any iteration of Batman that we've gotten. In this iteration particularly, he has his hand on the scale already before he even gets corrupted. All that matters to him is getting the case solved, getting the recognition for it, and furthering his motives of becoming mayor of Gotham.
It's all politics for you now. Every conviction, another ad for your campaign. Harvey Dent, tough on crime.
He wants to be mayor of Gotham for the right reasons, but he starts slipping into wrong ways of going about it, which eventually leads to the Two-Face persona. But what's even fun there is the fact that it's like a split personality to where while he's doing all these bad things as the evil Two-Face, he'll come back to himself and be like, I didn't want to do that. Why did you make me do that? And that's why he ends up seeking help from like Barbara Gordon and Commissioner Gordon to try and make things right, which I think is a really cool little twist to Harvey Dent. He's not purely evil by the end of it like he usually is. Another good character that we got was Harley Quinn. I feel like DC for the past 10 to 15 years has been trying to really separate Harley from Joker because of how their relationship is portrayed and how people see that kind of relationship in media these days. And so for this one, we're completely introduced to her by herself. She is still a therapist, but she's taken on this like almost anti-hero Robin Hood type persona where she'll get like high-end clientele, the top 1%, and if they're bad people and they have no intention of changing their ways, she'll kidnap them and then like mind control and like use hypnosis and therapists to basically make them give up all their riches to like to the projects or to battered women's shelters. And it's a really cool, interesting twist to her, and her suit just looks phenomenal. It's a really good court jester suit. I really like it. We then also get Barbara Gordon. She's a lawyer in this iteration, which I think is really nice. You see her a lot opposing Harvey Dent in these high-profile cases. I was scared for a while that they were going to lean into the whole Batman and Barbara get together. I've never really liked when they've gone that way with it. It makes Batman feel more like a groomer than a mentor like he's supposed to be. So they didn't end up doing that, which I was happy for. And she just was a very strong character, very good character that contributed to the show. Unlike a different character we'll get to into the cons, I really didn't like this other one. And then we get Flass and Bullock, which are the corrupt cops. We always know that Gotham has corrupt cops, and we know who Harvey Bullock is. He's been in a lot of different Gotham iterations. But it was really nice to see the personification of corrupt cops in these two, because they also don't exactly, they're corrupt, but they want to be good cops, but they think that they can do whatever they want to be good cops. They think they deserve recognition and accolades and money, so then they'll take jobs from the female Penguin at the beginning, but then once she's locked up, they end up working for the big boss, Mr. Thorpe. And it's so funny because even at one point we see Commissioner Gordon get shot at, and Flass is like, we need to, even though he hates Gordon, he's like, we really need to stick it to him. They can't shoot us. We're cops. We're the law. You can't do that to us. You must respect us. So it was nice to see them get the retribution they deserved by the end of it. It was very satisfying to see them get put down. But they were really good, too, to just watch. And then let's look at the time setting. Being in the 40s, I think, lended a lot of strength to Batman's detective work because we've only ever seen him in, like, these newer age where he has all these gadgets, all this, like, infrared, sonar, radar, all these cool little toys and tricks. In this, he's really got himself a big board that he looks at of the city. Like he puts a radio tracker thing in Detective Montoya's jacket, and you see this old-timey radio that he's using to like keep tabs on her and track her and stuff. And at one point, he gives Barbara Gordon his number, and she calls it. Alfred picks up and then literally pulls the cord and connects it to Batman's phone in the car that he has. It's just really cool because we get in the second episode a version of Clayface where it's an actor, and he's going around killing a bunch of actors that have slighted him. And you see Batman's detective work as he's trying to solve this case and see who the killer is just shine through, and it's a really good aspect of the show. And it's something that we miss a lot in the live action adaptations is Detective Batman. We got a little bit more with Robert Pattinson, but I don't think it hit the mark like they do in the animated shows. So this was another pro I saw. I love the deviation from just freaks in costume, which is mainly who Batman deals with, is just a bunch of freaks in costumes. We get in this show we do get like Firefly, we get the Penguin, we get Harley Quinn, we get all these freaks in costumes, but then we get these 2 episodes where Batman has to deal with the supernatural. One, he literally has to deal with a racist, classist ghost from the 1800s, and he has to work with Mr. Midnight, who is a voodoo man, to exorcise the ghost, which is really interesting. And it's nice to see Batman not his ideals clash with this ideal. It was really nice to see that, that it's not always just a freak in a costume, there is supernatural stuff there. And in another episode, we see him confronting a girl who basically has vampire powers. She can't be out in the sunlight, and she's also sucking the energy out of people to get really strong. So it was interesting with him this was after the ghost one, so at this point he was just like, yeah, I've seen a ghost. This really, at this point, yeah, it's got to be supernatural, and I'm okay with it. So I really like that they deviated just from detective freaking costumes to, okay, there's actually supernatural stuff going on in Gotham. We have to work with that. So I like that they were able to deviate from the norm. So then the storytelling, I think, was really nice. So we had 10 episodes, about 25 minutes apiece. So the overarching stories was Harvey Dent trying to become mayor and Batman just being Batman. But each episode dealt with a smaller boss in there. We had the Harley Quinn episode. We had a Penguin episode. We had, Clayface episode. But the whole time all this is happening, in the background, you're seeing developments to Harvey Dent's campaign. You're seeing developments to Bruce Wayne as a character. And I think the way they weaved one-offs into an overarching plot for a cartoon show was just really well done. Which, again, hello, Bruce Timm, Matt Reeves, J.J. Abrams. They're master crafts, so I'm not surprised. It's just really nice to see. Now we move on to cons. Now I have 4 here, but really 2 of them are really nitpicky. The other 2 are kind of cons, but I just kind of had to fill up the cons just a little bit so I didn't appear too biased. So we'll get to the nitpicky ones. 1, I don't like the suit. I am a known hater of the underwear over the suits. I don't like it. I know it's making a resurgence. We see the new Superman's gonna have the trunks. We see My Adventures with Superman. He has the trunks. I don't like the trunks. Get rid of them. But most people like them. I'm in the minority again, but I didn't like that, so it was a con for me. Another nitpicky one is the show runtime, which again could be a pro in the sense that I wanted more, which means that the show did what it needed to. It wanted you to watch it, and I watched every bit of it, and I wanted them longer, and I wanted more episodes. I just wanted more. So if you think that's a pro or if you think that's a con, that's really up for you to decide. Now to the 2 real cons of it. Montoya, a detective in the show, she was in almost every episode. She didn't really have much going on. She was kind of just there. They did try to give a subplot where her and Harley have like a love thing going on. It was explored for 1 episode, and then Harley disappears after the events of her little story. And then Montoya kind of just fades back into the background again. And I don't know, it just felt like her and Barbara were both fighting for the same kind of role in it, the strong female lead, and only one of them really could get that. Maybe try to give her a different role. It felt too much like she was in the background of a show that I feel like they were trying to push her into the front of, but I just didn't get it. And then the worst con for me, this is the worst one. I don't like it. I think it's unexcusable. Alfred, at first, I didn't like Alfred, and I couldn't put my finger on it. I was like, why don't I like Alfred? Something about Alfred, it's just not ringing for me. And then I realized, Alfred's a doormat, and Alfred is never a doormat. And this is another part of it. He should never be treated like a doormat. Like, Bruce and Batman, the line that you never cross is disrespecting Alfred. And there were so many times in this show where Batman or Bruce Wayne, when talking to Alfred, would be like, shut up, Alfred, drive. Or, Alfred, my tea's cold, go get me some more. And one of the last episodes, Batman is so frustrated that he literally screams at Alfred,
the situation's escalating and you're wasting my time, Pennyworth.
That's not okay. That's not something that happens. There's supposed to be a team that works together, and one that Batman will always listen to Alfred. And Alfred, for his part, just kind of lets it happen. And for me, that's not a good Alfred. Alfred's always been the only one that would really stand up to Bruce and the only one he would really listen to. And they changed that in this story, and I was not a fan of that. I don't think that should be a thing. I don't think you should ever mess with who Alfred is as a character, because he's like one of the mainstays of the show and of the character of Batman, is you don't mess with Alfred. That was a big one for me. All in all, I think it was a huge blunder on HBO Max's end to sell the show to Amazon instead of airing it themselves. After the success of My Adventures with Superman, I think Max could have had another great hit on their site. As it stands, I think Prime can add this to their extensive list of great shows, and as it stands now, I think Prime has a serious contention for best streaming site for original content. But again, that's just my opinion. Be sure to check the show out if you're in the mood for a good animated superhero show. If you've seen it already, let me know what your thoughts are of it in the comments down below. Until next time, I'm Steven, one half of the Binge Warmers, signing off. Keep on binging.